Hey guys, welcome to, I guess this is another Monday that you're watching this video. Today we're going to do more of a video podcast. You're not going to see us.
Nope.
We're going to find some lively music though to play in the background, maybe some nice funky jazz or something.
Or some hip hop.
Yeah,
No, let's change the music up like we did the poofing. Smooth jazz. Anyway, so
This is the Book of Mosiah. The Book of Mosiah is a very unique book in that the prophet for whom the book is named has very little to do with what happens in the actual book. It is also a book that includes multiple flashbacks, multiple groups splitting off, a lot of different storylines that are happening concurrently. And as you can see from our very clearly drawn diagram, could not be more clear what is happening.
yeah, if you've ever gone through and read the Book of Mosiah, you kind of just take things as it comes, and you don't.
And we can get lost. We can get a little bit lost in the
chronology is
details, and we're not sure exactly what's happening. So we thought we would explain a little bit.
So part of this diagram though is pre-Book of Mosiah. So if you're looking for some of this stuff in the book, you're probably going to miss it. In fact, the first kind of three lands that we're going to talk about. This is all Second Nephi on.
This is First Nephi 18 and 19. They arrive in the Promised Land. Book of Mormon geography, tradition, and culture of the people is that whenever you would establish a new city or a new land, it would be named after the leader of the land. So when Lehi and his family land in the New World, what would they call the land?
Well, I mean, the land of Lehi, or
their first inheritance.
Now, that's probably added after the fact, because what you'll see is there's plenty of migration here. In fact, scholars kind of see the land of Lehi as being pretty far south, and that with each break of people, they go further and further north. So here, the land of first inheritance, obviously this is probably given to them later, because I don't think Nephi gets off the boat and goes, this is our first land of inheritance.
But they call the land Lehi.
Right.
This is where they live for who knows how long until after the death of Lehi, when Nephi is forced to flee because Laman and Lemuel want to murder
just
him.
because of wickedness, right? Let's just keep it simple. They're splitting off because of wickedness.
So in 2 Nephi chapter 5, it says that Nephi and those that want to keep the commandments of the Lord travel many days in the wilderness and establish a new land, and they call it after the name of Nephi. And so the second city that is established is called the land of Nephi. It is also called a land of inheritance for the Nephites.
And to delineate it from the other one, they call the other one the first land of inheritance.
Now we know that from Jacob and Enos that there is still interactions that take place between the two different lands, the two different peoples. Nephites and Lamanites continue to battle. There's efforts from the Nephites to try to convert and restore them.
But there's
it doesn't
wars
happen.
And there's destruction. And
so over the course of 400 years, from the books of Jerem and Omni, we learn that the people, that there's effort, there's prophets, there's kings,
there's apostasy,
there's wickedness, and it gets to the point that it gets so bad that the king of the land of Nephi, the king of the Nephites, his name is Mosiah, is also warned in a dream that it's time to separate him and the righteous and to seek out a new land. And so as they journey, they come upon a land that's already been peopled after the name of a man called Zarahemla.
Now, isn't it kind of interesting, though, that a king, his people are so wicked that he's got to abandon them and just take the righteous? I mean, that's got to tell you how bad things got. But anyway, we get up here to this new city. This is already peopled. They do not build this city. It's existing.
In fact, they have a really difficult time when they first get there because they discover that the people of Zarahemla, they don't know their language.
Right. Their language or the religion has become corrupt.
So what we find out is Zarahemla is the descendant of a man by the name of Mulek. Mulek is the son of King Zedekiah, who is the king of Israel at the time that Babylon conquers Israel. So the people of Zarahemla, the people of Lehi, both leave
at about the same
time, but they go to different places in the Promised Land.
Right.
So when Mosiah the first gets there, he causes that the language should be taught. He causes that the religion should be reestablished. Zarahemla and their people are so grateful that they unite and they establish Mosiah to be the king over all the land. Mosiah has a son named Benjamin. Benjamin has a son also called Mosiah. And that is the book of Mosiah.
And really, in Zarahemla, this is the center place for most of the rest of the Book of Mormon. But what's interesting is because Mormon slows down, we hear much more about Zarahemla. But in reality, they probably spent way more time in the land of Nephi than they even do here in Zarahemla.
So during the reign of Mosiah the first, there's a man by the name of Zeniff. Zeniff was a military guy. He'd been ordered, him and one of the armies of the Nephites, to go and to spy on the Lamanites
In the land of Nephi.
in the land of Nephi, to come up with a plan of how they might destroy them.
And then to destroy them.
But Zeniff, seeing that there's much good in the land of Nephi, there's an argument. And the man, he calls the leader an austere man. He's
Right.
hard. And there's a battle, there's a fight, there's a lot of death, and the survivors return back to the land of Zarahemla.
Because obviously, if you disagree with somebody, it turns into a war and you kill people.
I mean, that's how I do it.
Yeah. It says it's pretty brutal.
It's
Father
very- it's
against
very
son, brother against brother, and a majority of people die.
But Zeniff he's very motivated to possess the
Calls
land of
himself
his inheritance.
zealous.
So, yeah, he uses the word zealous. He finds other like-minded people to go back, and he establishes a contract of sorts with the king of the Lamanites
In the land of Nephi.
in the land of Nephi to go back and to possess the land of their inheritance.
Yeah, they see this as their right. So they go back to kind of reestablish their right in the land of inheritance.
And according to the people of Zarahemla, they're never heard from again.
Right, they
And
disappear
they're
off
kind
the
of
map.
lost to
Right.
the record. Okay, so fast forward to the reign of Mosiah II. As Mosiah takes the reign, there's a group of people who are the relatives of Zeniff, and they start pressuring Mosiah a little bit. What happened to our ancestors? And so they were desirous that they might learn what happened, and so Mosiah sends Ammon and another group of men, not the Ammon that cuts off the arms.
No,
This is a
not
different
that
Ammon.
Ammon.
And they wander in the wilderness, and they're trying to find the land of Nephi. And as they wander, they come across a man by the name of Limhi.
In the land of Nephi.
In the land of Nephi, Limhi is the son of Noah. Noah is the son of Zeniff. And Limhi begins to tell the story to Ammon about how Limhi and his people are now in bondage to the Lamanites.
Right. This is the flashback. Okay?
This is
So
the flashback.
Mormon puts this in here, and he uses this flashback to teach this narrative. So we're in Mosiah II's reign, and Limhi, who is the king of that people at this time, is going to rewind.
So if you want to align kings with kings, Zeniff is at the time of Mosiah I. Noah is about the time of Benjamin, and Limhi is at the time of Mosiah II.
So once you get to about chapter 7, 8,
Yep.
is when Limhi goes, all right, now we're going to tell you a story.
I'm going to tell you this story.
And so we rewind 2 generations back to Zeniff.
Okay, so Zeniff tells his story. He's largely a righteous king.
Right?
They talk a lot about how they were able to defend themselves in the power of God.
Right?
He has a son who he anoints to be king, and Noah changes everything.
Right.
up.
He replaces the priest that his father. Anyway, he does his own thing and
Starts
becomes
to
very
tax
wicked.
the people.
The
He
people
builds
are
up.
wicked. He likes women and money, and lots of wickedness happens.
And so, what does the Lord do when a people starts to become wicked?
Sends a prophet.
And this is where Abinadi comes in. We know the story of Abinadi, how
Or
he
we're going to
preaches.
cover it here shortly anyway.
Well,
right?
and these guys know what happens to Abinadi. He doesn't survive
Spoiler
the
alert, he
experience. But Alma, who is one of the priests, the new priests of Noah, he does believe the words of Abinadi. He starts teaching the people the words of Abinadi
in secret, right?
in secret. Noah finds out about it, and Alma and his people flee,
They jet.
and they're kind of lost to the story, at least according to Noah.
Or according to Limhi anyway, right?
Yep.
Limhi doesn't really know.
Yeah, they try to find him, can't find him. Okay, so Noah is put to death. Limhi becomes king. They're under captivity and bondage to the Lamanites. Ammon shows up, says, "Hey, we're from the land of Zarahemla." Limhi's like, "Whoa, really?
Because we thought it.
We
thought y'all died.
We thought you was dead."
Right.
Because Limhi is
Years before.
under bondage, sends a group of men to go find the land of Zarahemla, and they wander in the wilderness.
They get lost.
And they get lost, and they come upon a land that has been basically, it's just ruins, bones and weapons and all sorts of stuff.
The buildings are all broken
And
down.
they're really bummed out because they believe, oh no, Zarahemla's been destroyed. They find 24 plates of gold
with a bunch of
writings that they can't recognize, and they decide to take it back. And what they realize is that wasn't Zarahemla. That was actually the ruins of the Jaredites.
Right. They don't know that yet.
But they don't know that.
Right.
So when Ammon comes on scene, we're from Zarahemla. They're pretty excited. Oh, that means that we can go back to the Lamanites. We can be protected. And through miraculous means, I don't know how miraculous it was, they get the Lamanites drunk.
Well, I mean, inspired thoughts and inspired plans.
There you
That
go.
works.
They were inspired to get the Lamanites drunk, and they are able to escape and make their way all the way back to the land of Zarahemla.
And there's rejoicing.
Yay!
Okay, so
All
back to this. Okay, now we'll go back to the same time frame. We got the Lamanites who are now chasing Limhi's people in the
Yeah,
wilderness.
because as soon as they come out of their drunken stupor, they're like, hey, what happened?
They're like, oh crap!
Oh no, we got to get them back. And so they follow Limhi in the wilderness.
And then they get lost.
But then they get lost. But they stumble across another city out in the middle of nowhere that's called the land of Helam.
Right, Alma, who has been MIA since Noah's time.
Same Alma that was
Right.
the believed in the words of Abinadi.
And he's like, we either help these Lamanites or they'll probably attack us anyway. So he comes out and says, you guys lost? And they're like, yeah. And
We'll
he's
show
like,
you the way
"So
back."
I'll show you back. And the Lamanites are like, gotcha.
Now
And they
you're
put them
stuck.
in bondage.
So through and this is Mosiah chapter 24. Through miraculous means, the Lord provides a way for their escape, and they are able to return to the land of Zarahemla.
And there is much rejoicing.
Yay! And this is where Mosiah is the king, and he appoints Alma to be the high priest over the church.
There is an establishment of a new church, or a more, I guess, organized church.
And this is roughly where the book of Mosiah ends, with Alma, his son, Alma the younger, the sons of Mosiah, and their conversion. And that's how the book of Mosiah is structured. See, wasn't that simple?
Yeah,
Now that you guys can follow, it's just like, it's
Yeah,
as
just
clear
go ahead
as
and
day.
just keep this in mind. You'll understand.